Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Again, I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Montagne d'hier, t'as mon mouillé, on s'en bat des fois, moi, il pleut. Mais là, l'aucun yo. Quand on soit du loi, allez, envoyez, à tu au loi, et là-haut, à Bella l'aucun yo, ni vite au job, ni vite au nomba, Martissimo Peyo. Manager Gigi, moi, je ne peux jamais forcer. Si tu connais, tu connais. L'animateur Choco, non, c'est il y a 5 de Toyebi. L'homme a tout fait pour Mivito. Aniché les deux.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Good evening, folks. Samson to Liberian Public Radio. We're here again this evening to have a conversation with you about our country. I want to thank all of you again that tune into Liberian Public Radio. Please share this video as much as you can. Please share as much as you can, please. It's very important that we do so. I want to thank all of you again, as I stated, for tuning into Liberian Public Radio. Thank you very much for your continued support. It's very important to all of us. And I hope that whatever we do here, that you enjoy and that you like what we're doing. And that's why you keep coming back. But thank you. We're not saying that everything we say here is something that you agree with. In fact, we hope that you don't agree with many of the things that I say here. But it allowed us to have a dialogue, a conversation among us. And we want to thank you. And I say, welcome. Again, it's just a wonderful feeling to see all of you again tonight. We want to thank you very much. Safety. My Lord Jesus, thank you for everything. We especially come before you here again tonight to put the Republic of Liberia in your hands, to put the people of Liberia in your hands. My Lord, you've always been there for us. You always guided us, and you will continue to guide us. But we're especially here again tonight to ask you to guide us. This is about democracy. Guide us. Guide our people to understand that is not about them, but about the future of our country. My Lord, please, we come before you again tonight to plead with you. You always done that, and you continue to be in there. We're asking you to double the effort, whatever you can do for Liberia. Help us, guide us. My Lord, we come here again tonight to have conversation with our brothers and sisters. Help us to understand each other. We ask that you guide our thoughts as well as we open our mouth again tonight to our brothers and sisters, that, my Lord, you will be able to get involved so that all of the filth that might have come out of our mouth might be filtered out through your intervention. It's very important that we speak with sincerity, that we speak the voice of hate and jealousy. Envious should not be part of the conversation tonight. My Lord, we ask you to bless the Republic of Liberia. Bless the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. Give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. We ask that you bless the host nation, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, folks, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a wonderful thing to have you here again tonight. First of all, I want to thank all of you that tune in and continue to watch us. Please share this video as much as you can. Please share this video as much as you can. It's important to do so as well. The president is out of the country, according to the story we're getting. The vice president is out of the country, according to the story we're getting. But at the same time, we're hoping that the process itself in governing the country, that our brothers and sisters will see reason to make sure that cooperation with whoever is left in charge, for us as Liberians to cooperate with that person and do what is good and make sure that we're all in line with the law. Respect the law, respect each other, respect each other's space, and let us have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time in that country. So let's go back to the issue yesterday that I started discussing. I think a lot of people are still hung up on that, and quite rightly so. They're going to have to, they must, because that was a very scary situation for and it's not quite over yet. So the issue now is, as the president correctly stated, that yes, indeed, he's going to set up a meeting. I mean, he's going to set up a group of people to investigate. And we're hoping that the investigation will be done very early and tell us what happened. Not necessarily to punish those who perhaps might be responsible, but to give us a sense of working, working in Liberia, specifically in the security sector. My brothers and sisters, we shouldn't try to play around this thing here. These things we've done it before. We called the bluff of democracy before. And you saw, all of you that are still alive, saw what happened, saw what we went through. No one person in Liberia of a voting age that would say that person was not touched by the war. Every one of us was touched by the war. Unless you just become naturalized in the last 3 years, that you were not a Liberian citizen before then, and you just became a Liberian citizen, naturalized, whatever it is, yes. But those of us that born in Liberia, have root in Liberia, in all most of the villages, every one of us were touched. I can sit here right now on this platform. I'm not going to name all the people that was killed from my town, but this is what I'm going to tell you. It was me, then it was my brother group, I was my group, and my brother's group, And then there was a group that was behind my brother. That whole group, the one that behind my brother and my brother group, that whole group in total collapsed. They all died, except for one, and he's still in total. And every time that I go to total, I look at him from a very large lens, because now he represents that generation that when I used to go play drum, I'll tell them they're making noise. They must be quiet. I'm playing drum because I was older than them. Or sometimes I go take them in the water side. The whole group, put some on my bike, take them to the deeper part of the water and dump them. The whole group died. Completely wiped out. And the group I'm talking about comprised of almost 20 to 30 young men that was immediately next to me. So when I go to Total now, the young people that I see are not only, let me say this again, me, my brother group, his crowd of boys, and then the next one, that whole from my brother group to that next one, that whole generation collapsed. So this is not something to play with. And I'm sure I'm not alone. I'm sure Town is not unique. There are villages that are yet to recover. We cannot play around this thing because of money. Because of money. Because of money. Yeah, I know we're suffering. People are suffering. People need to get paid. People need to do X. If people assign you to do a job and they don't pay you, that's wrong. If you take responsibility, trust that the government will do what they said they're going, and they're not doing it, that's wrong. But let me just give you an example. Most of you most likely don't even remember. Back in 1976, I was on Camp Justin Road at that time anyway. There were a group of army personnel that were commissioned, that had promotion. My brother and every one of them, as little as he was, they gave him sergeant position. And people were promoted to captain and major and all that kinds of good stuff. In less than a day, the government reversed all of that promotion. 1976. You know how I remember that? Because that was when Prince Nico music. What's the name of that music? Yo 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 a day. Money. Something about money. Music maker, something like that. That was 1976. But people thought that was going to be the time the army was going to revert. It didn't. They didn't. The army have always been used by our government. Previous government have done that day in, day out. Remember, they sent people to Congo in the early 60s. I wasn't born at that time. But anyway, that's besides the point. My uncle, his son is in Philadelphia right now. He went to Congo. I know people that went to Congo because I grew up in the barracks. And when they got back, what was the richest they got? Not much. Not much. Not much. We cannot allow money to infiltrate into our psyche and make us to be rebellions. Liberia, let us don't try this thing anymore. We tested democracy. We rebelled against democracy. And we knew exactly what happened. As I always stated, and I will say again, democracy is a bluffing idea. These are just mere ideas. You can't tell me what color democracy is. You can't tell me what shape democracy is. It's an idea that group of people want to hold that together, to say we believe in this because of this system, because of our ideology, because of what we believe in, called democracy. It allowed us to improve our lives. It allowed us to improve the life of future generations. It cannot be tested. Now anymore. We did it before. We tested democracy. We rebelled against democracy. We called the bluff of democracy. It didn't turn out right for us. And the sad thing is, those who were at the helm of testing democracy, those who were at the helm of calling the bluff of democracy, and they knew exactly the end result, you would think those people would be at the forefront. All now, they are older, but you would think they would be at the old forefront to say, stop, stop, stop. How big is Liberia that Liberia cannot be considered a village? How big is Liberia that Liberia will not be considered like a village? That when it's a conflict, something's brooding, you can't have these men, older gentlemen, people who have experienced deadly war will come out and stand on broad street and say, never again, we're not going to go that route. Whatever we have, the system we ourselves as Liberians put in place, that system must be tested. We elected people to represent us. We elected people to represent us. We have three forms of government: the executive, judiciary, and the legislature. Legislature is directly representation of us, the people of the Republic of Liberia. Every one of those people that are in the House of Representatives and the Senate, they are representing our interest. It's just that they turn it against us. They make us to vote against our own interest. I'm not going to blame anybody either. But we cannot have another generation wipe out. You know, and I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to knock anybody down. But if you've been around like I have, and you're still engaged with younger generation, go to the community organization here in the United States and see some of their argument that they will put forth. And you're wondering, how did this person even get to be here? Because there's no foundation. And Liberians, especially young Liberians, are very resilient. There's no question asked. The kinds of trauma these people went through in Liberia, the kinds of trauma these young Liberians went through, and yet still they're able to come in this country, educate themselves, and they're doing well. We cannot have ourselves to go back to those days. I don't care who is responsible. I just want to appeal to everyone. I just want to appeal to everyone. Damage again, you can damage the entire country again, but the only sad thing is you're not going to have the international community to come to your aid this time around. There's so many conflicts all over the world. They don't have time to come to your aid, knowing fully well. They know you've been there. They know you don't want to go back. But if you force yourself to go back, they're not coming to your aid. You're going to be on your own for a while. We cannot have these kinds of situations. The army wives, we have law in the country. Yes, you say, well, we try to seek attention of the lawmakers, but they didn't pay attention to us. Well, you're right. But these are people we elected. All of the lawmakers, They're representing our interests. They didn't come from Ghana. They didn't come from Ethiopia. They're all from Nima County, Grand Gide, Lofa County, River G, all of the 15 counties, and all of the tribes in Liberia has been represented in the House of Representatives, in the Senate. These are people, brothers and sisters. You can come from any county and go to the Senate and speak your dialect. Someone in our Senate, as a senator, will understand exactly what you're saying, will understand your dialect. You go to the House of Representatives and speak your dialect. People will understand exactly what you're saying. These are our own brothers and sisters. And if you go out, if you get in, and you try to complain, to say, I don't want this man to be Minister of Defense, and they don't pay you no mind, you're right to be angry. But if you test the system to that extent, you're also helping to build the institution, believe it or not. So I'm not faulting you at all. I'm just saying, knowing where we come from. But listen to that lady of the Army's wife that spoke today, or yesterday, whatever time. She said, we are coming out here because we do not want our husbands to come out. Because if a country has an army and the army are not certified, we have a problem. So the wives of the army, we appreciate you being the buffer zone between us and them, because it would have been chaotic. If the army had come in the street yesterday and it wasn't the wives, most likely they would have been challenged by another group of men, most likely from the police, and would have had a serious problem. So I do appreciate the fact that these women were there as a buffer zone between us and them. However, we can't do this. See, these are things that I used to predict a long time ago. When Madam Sali was president, I said, the only reason why a lot of noise is not happening right now because a woman. But if a man come in, you'll be challenged by another man. What happened? What Prince Johnson, General Johnson, why was he targeted? You mean his behavior toward his fellow army personnel was so bad? Why were they not saying anything? Why were the wives were so quiet until now? Those are questions we all need to know. We want to know. And as many people asking, why was it such organized event? And that the national security in Liberia were not able to pick it up? But then again, I will say this. Because in 1980, Samson, pick it up before the national security picked up the coup. I knew about it. The question was, what do I do? Do I go to the police, security force? What happened if they kill my brother? What do I do then? Okay, maybe this is not going to happen. My brother just saying stuff out of his mouth, so I'll be quiet. But look what happened. So the point that I'm making is these things are deeper than just money issue. Who were those that behind this thing? You know you don't want Prince Johnson, your men, army personnel. You have you have your ranking, you have generals who also represent your interest. If this is such a bad situation, why do we have to wait until this time? And then again, let's go back to the Senate. Senator Dillon, the one, most of our, not even from Moserado County, he represents the interest of Moserado County. But as far as I'm concerned, he represents the interest of the entire country because of his willingness to engage, because of his willingness to bring transparency at the Senate. He represents the interest of every Liberian, not only in Liberia in diaspora. We respect him, including my own sister. But why were they not able to understand the deeper problem? And the general himself, was he not aware of the opposition against him? Or did he just decide to somehow discard the opposition process as being nothing? Why would every one of those people that are involved, why would they put Liberians at risk? For what? For what? How much would an army general make in Liberia? That much. And this young man is a well-trained army personnel, respected internationally. But these are things, these are troubling times. These are troubling times. They are not something that I can come out here and start dancing. This is not one of those times that you will come and dance for Ambassador Baka or President Baka. However, the only solace you can take out of this is this. It's the fact that President Baka exhibited an extreme leadership ability yesterday or day before. And it made me feel that, yes, indeed, we've been on this platform, toting the experience. We've been on this platform, toting his age as being wise. And I think that was on the national display yesterday. And I really, really do appreciate that. For him to immediately engage the Liberian people, to tell the Liberian people what was happening and how he intended to deal with it. And there are those brothers and sisters that will argue, vehemently argue, some of them highly educated, will vehemently argue that the government dropped the ball by not engaging the wives of the army, our sisters, our mothers, by not engaging them using tear gas. Are you kidding me? Who among you would take tear gas to spray tear gas in a woman's eyes in Liberia? Well, you say, I mean, if we think like that, that means we're not far removed from the war. Because during the war situation, we didn't separate woman from man, no question, nothing. But if we say we have removed ourselves from the war, we're no longer in a war situation. Are you now ready? Are you prepared to naked woman in the street of Monrovia? Are you prepared? Are you ready to take tear gas and spray the woman's eyes in Monrovia? Just a few months ago, there was a lady that was massively beaten, and many Liberians were against that. People were not even finding out what happened. The mere fact that it was a lady that was attacked publicly, it didn't sit well with many Liberians. But yet, because of some political, whatever you want to call it, now they are calling the government dropped the ball because the government should have sent in a police to make sure that they quarrel the demonstrators. The demonstrators were women. The demonstrators were wives of the army personnel. So let's take the guns and whatever they have in the barrel, let's put it one side. Which one of you, who among us, is ready at this time? Because of security reason, because of, unless You're going to say you're going to reverse back to the war, because that's about the only way you will be successful in attacking women in the street of Monrovia and try to get away with it. If you say we're back into the mindset of the war, you can do that. But you cannot attack women in the street of Monrovia and think you're going to get away with it. I'll give you an example. You see Mary Blah here, some maybe 5 or 7, 8, 10 years or something like that. She was cited and she was supposed to go to jail. And the women in Madam Salih government, if you don't know that story, go and research it. They went to the prison compound, central prison, and said she's not going to jail. The women blocked the jail. Who among the police, the security apparatus are able to push a woman, folks? But then you say, Mr. Toll, these young men nowadays, they don't care. They don't care the way the war treated them. They have no respect. Yes, I agree with you, fine. But if you were to send the police yesterday or day before to forcibly remove those women from the street of Monrovia or the highway, I just don't see it. So I think Ambassador Baka recognized that and said to himself, I'm sure the fact that there was no justice minister, I'm sure there was a constant communication between. I'm sure they continue to updating, and most likely, and I'm just speculating at this time, most likely was saying to them, just take it easy, take it easy. First thing is he would most likely ask, are they damaging anything, any property? No. Where are they? They're sitting in the street and they're not letting no car go by. Okay, take it easy. Let them calm down. Let's take it easy. And that part of taking it easy, that soft stick was able to win the day. And what happened was this. Look, when I say these things, people think that because I'm liberal, I have a liberal mindset. And liberal, they always soft. No. Being a liberal, for me, it means someone who tried to find middle ground. Where can we meet? We have our issues. We have a problem. We know the problem exists. What is the solution? I'm an engineer. That's what I do every day. Find a solution. There's a problem. The road needs to be fixed. What is a quick solution? But my solution that I will have to come up with must be economical. I shouldn't come up with a solution that will cost the community so much money that they can't afford it. But what is a solution? So as a liberal, these are the things that I apply to my daily life. I can be driving here, boom, you got a flat tire. Okay, I can sit here. I have to be to work. I can sit here. I know I got spare in the car. Okay, I don't want to dirty my clothes, so I will call tow truck. Well, the tow truck going to take about 45 to an hour to get here. So what is the next thing? Oh, I can fix it. So what if my clothes is dirty? I will wash them. But that's the instant solution to my problem right now and right there. So with the cool-headed provider yesterday, Ambassador Bakai, with his leadership ability, I thought it was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Of course, there are those money quarterbacks who will say the security should have been involved. Where are we today? Ambassador Bakai is out of the country. No, you say what's the one specifically for this particular incident. They're going to do the investigation. But let's go a little bit deeper. I'm having a conversation with you here this evening. Let's go a little bit deeper. And I would say, as a liberal, I also have interest, not necessarily to punish, but I want to know what happened. How did we get there? Was this something that just happened in the last week or so? So what happened? What was their demand? Was to get the defense minister to not to be confirmed, and if he is, he must be removed. What happened now? Does that certify whatever it is that he's been accused of? By him being removed, the question now is, okay, he's removed. Are you okay now? So you're gonna not even talk about the money issue that was affecting you in the first place? Is that the only reason? Could he not have even stayed? And you bring this up to the president, and that becomes an issue. Or even as that, can the wives of the army, I'm not too sure if they have the constitutional right to go to court or whatever, because I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know these things. But was that the only solution to whatever the problem was they had? Okay. So there are those who will argue that perhaps there's no other way the government should just go in there and just robe those people, take them from the street and say, get out here. You don't belong. Go in there with fire hoses and what those things don't pay good. They don't turn out right. It just make people agitated more, and the more they get agitated, the more they want to be involved. Now, let's go on the other side. And there are those who are arguing, Mr. Tor, good, we don't want no incident that will haunt this government. But what if other groups try to use the same method? The fact that they were not met with heavy security resistance. What if other members in the society decide they want to do the same thing? How do you deal with it? And all I can say to that is this: Ambassador Bakas needs to come out again. I said, this is because he did, and if you listen to his speech, he's very smart. He didn't give them a blanket of amnesty. No, he never even gave the amnesty in the first thing. But he said, these people, they are our protectors. And when we're dealing with their cases, we have to be very, very sensitive, and we have to approach it wisely. Okay. So that is not the same as being mounting of doing what you might call protesting. I want to say this here, and I'm not saying it. Well, I'm not even going to talk about things we saw in Grand Gita, not the wartime, way before the war, but there was some bad behavior that happened in Grand Gita County that I witnessed. I'm not going to go into that right now. Way before the war, way before the coup. I'm talking about mid-70s. Okay. That people saw things in my town, Total, what they did to other citizens of Grand Gita in Total. If I narrate those things, then you'll be so upset you won't even believe it. Okay. But that is not the issue. I'm not going to be one of those that will encourage the government to be heavy-handed. The heavy-hand situation. This one I will talk about. So back in 1982 in Canton, Ohio, there was a guy from Nima County called him D.K. Wansley. So Wansley, before that, I go to Ohio, and at one time I went to Ohio while we were there. While I was there in Ohio, General Charles Drew came, and my friend had a party for him that night, and we welcomed him, and I made a statement and simply say, we're all brothers and sisters. At that time, things was brooding. We all knew things were happening. So I have said, we've been hearing all kinds of stuff, General, but these are our brothers and sisters. Let's try to be a little bit when we engage it. So anyhow, that was that. So when D.K. Wansley came to Canton, I was in Canton. He and I stay in the same house for I think it was 3 weeks. So we had a lot of conversation. And one of the things, because I asked him, I said, why is it that every time there's an incident happening in Liberia, in Monrovia, that many of you that are working in LAMCO will go and attack the crown man who is a general over there? What's the reason? Why would you guys do that? He said, we're not. They're the one who's saying that most with any kind of noise happening in Monrovia, that we must be under control, and people resist those kinds of stuff. Okay. So when he told me that, I said, wow, okay, well, that makes sense. You got to stand up for what you believe in, you know. But he didn't give me the whole story. We know the whole story. We know that. I'm not going to go into that. But the issue here is this. If a government, any government, especially in Liberia, where we are all connected, we're all connected. You can come from Lofa County, you got relatives in Grand Jida. You can come from Grand Jida, you got relatives in Bassa. We're all connected. And so if a government does not take that into consideration and want to bring in some heavy-handed antidote in trying to resolve a social issue, you will face problem. There's no two-way street around it. There's no two-way street around it. Because you, as a government, must be able okay, whatever you say, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with you here. But anyway, as a government, and these are my beliefs, folks. I'm not saying the government need to do that, but I'm just saying, as a government, if you come in because you think you have the security apparatus, and therefore you will try to use heavy hand to resolve issues, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for trouble. Just give me a moment here, please. Okay. And it's not something to take lightly either. The government has a right to protect itself. There's no question. To protect lives. The government must do all they can to make sure that its property of citizens are protected. There's no two-way street around it. Okay? You can't, the government is constitutionally responsible to protect all of us. What has Samson told on that? Okay? But the issue now is this. How do you do that? I believe that in order for you to do it with sincerity, the people must be brought on board. And then you say, but Mr. Tour, if you do that, you'll be telling the people the secret, the national security secret. Who cares about your national security secret? This is about Liberia. You think if Liberia is being attacked by Guinea or by, God forbid, by any other country around us, that those people will go and go become like the mouthpiece of the other people who are attacking us? No. A Liberian will always try to protect their own. There's no question asked. Okay? There's no question asked. But the point that I'm making is this. Liberians must always be on board whatever you do as a government. Because if you don't, you will be causing yourself a big harm. I believe that. I truly believe that. Okay? So let's go back. Okay. So the issue that, okay, just give me a moment. Okay, that's fine. Let's go. So once that happened, I believe if a government like President Bakar did, you think they didn't have the government? They have the security apparatus at their fingertip. They could have utilized force to remove those people and let people go to Ralphie and all miss their flight and what have you. But guess what? If you have done that, you just sowed a seed of division. And here's another thing Ambassador Baka recognized long time ago, that this government, yes, they were elected, but that the country is divided. And any little thing, if Ambassador Baka is not careful in how to handle the engagement of anything that is happening in the country, the division is going to be widening. And Ambassador Baka recognized that. He doesn't need to govern a country that is divided. He needs to govern a country that is united. Because with that united front, we will be successful in many of the things that Ambassador Baka is planning to do. And this is what CDC was not able to accomplish. This is what CDC was not able to accomplish. They were willing to give us benevolent dictatorship. They were willing to give us that. They were, and not only willing, but they were preaching. If President Weah was someone who has some sort of dictatorship tendency in him, it would have been easy to transfer himself from where he is now to that of dictator position. Okay, but let's go back to the point here. So when you're leaving Grand Jide and you get in Nima County, as soon as you cross the river, the first town, it's also my relatives, because found it. They call in Gyo, people call it found it, but for us we call it found. So of my relatives. My grandfather owned a town in Nima County called Pugayudi. And when my brother died, the last time when I went home to bury people from Nima County, came to Toll Town because we're all related, came for the burial. And that was my first time seeing my other cousin there. I have another brother, or uncle, so to speak, was very little. According to the story, he was about maybe 15 years old when he went to Bassa. I've never seen him since, but I know he has kids over there because my mom used to tell me that when she was in Monrovia, the brother used to leave from Bassa with the kids to come and see her. So I have relatives in Bassa. I don't know them. I'm not unique. All of us as Liberians, we're connected to each other. And that's why this war was so deadly for us. It affected us so badly. But let's move on. Let's move on. I'm going to be opening a line here very shortly anyway. But let's move on. So there are those that will argue, as I was saying, Mr. Toll, the fact that the government, they call it cave in, the government cave in, and therefore other people utilize that as the government being weak, shows some weakness. Far from it. Far from it. Far from it. Before I talk about that, let me talk a little bit about myself. Back in the 70s, late 70s, growing up, I was very young, in the barracks. Every night, we used to have a wrestling competition. Right in front of the barracks, right underneath the tower, we used to have sometimes they let the grass grow because the army people can be crawling under there, say they're practicing how to fight war. But anyway, we used to have at night, because the tower has some lights on it. So we used to see each other. So we used to practice wrestling. After we played the braid, you put a wire in there, you leave it and see who will pick it. Everybody may say you go in there because where you leave your bread, you go there and say, I don't eat food on the table. I eat on the ground. That person will show their hand. And this is a bar. This is a bar you want to eat. You don't want to eat in the middle of the hand. Don't hang there. But you put your toe like this. You see that? And then you eat a bar right here in the side. Yeah, too. He can't fight you because you missed the bread. But anyway, so let's go back to the wrestling match. There was this little short guy called Sir Gizzy-Boy. In fact, his name was Gizzy-Boy anyway, but we call him Sir. So this guy, in my age group, because they used to wrestle, you can't wrestle people who are older than you. You're not going to win, so they go by age. So in my age group, I was at the top. There's no question. But this young kid, short, but he was in my age group. Every time that I go with Sir, I will be on my bike. So this one night, I said, no, I'm not going to eat shit with Cray anymore. I said, Sir, I throw everybody down, but for you, he said, Samson, here's the thing you're missing. When you and myself go at it, when we go and you hold me on my bike, I hold you on my bike, we'll go like this, okay? I can tell when you're ready. When you're ready to put me on your hip, as soon as you put me, I'll let you put me there. But while I'm in the air, getting ready to come down, I switch. I said, okay. I said, I don't believe it. Let's try again. We'll try 3 times. Every time when I put him over here and try to put it, boom, I'm on the ground. So I started practicing what he showed me. Okay. So the engaging process, if you're going to be engaging anybody, that person is also going to be there. There's a saying that say in the physics, you push, you push back. The same energy you push, that same energy come back. The same force you push, that same force is what you're getting back. Nothing more, nothing less. So the issue of our country, my brothers and sisters, is very important. We cannot and we must not go back. We can. We can. We should be finding ways how to develop. And one of the things that I think is happening again is the same thing that happened under President Weah administration. You have people who are now quite wealthy and they are being put in this position, lucrative position. They're lucrative for the country, but because they are now wealthy and because they are not quite there, instead of that lucrative money coming into the country, most likely those people will play five finger. There's a story that I'm hearing already that people are taking bribes for jobs. Okay? This is not good for our country. And I stated here one time on the same platform that if you're up there as president, you see everything. You see everything. But when you're down here, you think the man over there are closed. He can't see nothing. The men are doing nothing for it. And then when you get there, you say, that what we inside, my people. You can't say, oh, but to you, you know. Okay? So people will say that the government caved in because the government did not provide security protection for the folks to travel through the Ralphie Highway. These are our brothers and sisters, my people. These are our brothers and sisters. And their argument, and which is quite legitimate, that the fact that to them that the government has shown weakness, other people will utilize that same process and try to disturb the country. I agree. But why would you want to disturb the country if the country is doing well? If President Bakai's policy are all in line with the Liberian people, if President Bakai's policy are there to redeem Liberian people, if President Bakai's policy are benefiting Liberian people, why would Liberian want to get in the street? What reason? Just because of hate or just because of opposition to the government? What happened yesterday? If the government had responded the way many of you are arguing, that would have been the reason why these people will continue. But President Baka, in his own wisdom, as the president, not only that, but as the father of the nation, were able to break that bound and make sure that not one person fingernail got cut. And the question I believe he was asking, are these people disturbing the black in the road? Are they damaging property? They're blocking the road. Are they hurting anybody? They're blocking the road. I'm sure that was the conversation that was happening. Okay, let's be patient with them. Let's be patient. We just had an election where the country is divided, deeply divided. I've been saying on many of my speeches where I said there is no Western Liberia, there is no Eastern Liberia, there's no West Eastern Liberia. It's just one Liberia. I've been saying that. Let's test that. Let's test that. And it did. And this young man himself also resigned. Now, you will say, why would he even resign? Why didn't he just stay? And in his resignation, he quickly stated that I do not want to be in a way of peace in this country, which I respect. And I accept that. And there was an interesting statement from the U.S. Embassy saying that we have to be very careful how we do our protests and what have you. I'm just paraphrasing. So they were quite aware. And Ambassador Baker stated that having had consultation with our developmental partners, which is the international community, so they were quite aware of his decision as well. But I'm just taking this time this evening to appeal to all of you as Liberian. And my appeal has some sort of underlining factor which have to do with being selfish. In that, I'm a Liberian. I want to be able to come home anytime without any disturbances. If I'm able to do anything for myself, let me do it in my own country as well. Let me come home. I come home, and the smell of the city, people say dirty is stinking, but the smell of the city makes some of us feel good. You'll say, but Mr. Toy, you're being ridiculous. But you go on the beach, you see the wave. Here in Sacramento, what a wave. If I want to see ocean, I gotta go all the way to the Bay Area. I can go to Monreal right now and go on the beach and get some fresh fish. That's life. I can go to Town and say, you know what? I want to go lock trap. You know what I mean by locking trap? Oh, okay. So I don't know the English name, lock trap. I speak in Crown in the English, I locking trap. But on a very serious note, that's what we're saying. We cannot go back. There are some villages in Liberia that is yet to recover. Because the young people that were supposed to take over for the older folks that have died, they're no longer alive as well. So some villages completely decimated. You go through the village, no, nothing standing. The only thing you see is to say, yeah, people used to live here. There are some villages in Liberia that will never be the same, never come back. We can't go back to that kind of situation. Let's believe in ourselves. Let's work. We can disagree. You see me here? Water cutter, breakable. They will call in here. And I say, oh, my battery line. I want to tell you my battery dying. Other people, people call and found the other day. Said, the what Mr. told you is not good. Why is he saying your battery dying? He want to talk to people. So other people taking offense to that. I understand that, and they have the right to it. But they cannot go further than that to try to rain insult on me. They won't do that. because it's not about them. Whatever Walter Carter is saying, whatever Breakable is saying, whatever the other young man from Farco was saying, it's about what they believe that they want their country to be like. It's not because they think that the country that we want, all of us, that is going to be different from what they have. So when I'm arguing with them, when I disagree with them, they know it is not about me or none is it about them. And so they will not rain insult on me. That's civil conversation, civil engagement. What happened yesterday to the wives? And I think they recognized that. And they were apologetic in their statement this evening, where they said they were sorry for specifically for those who, because of their action, people missed their flight. They were very sorry about it, but that they wanted attention. But then the question is, that's the only way to gain the attention? Then the other question is, why the people they try their best and people are not listening? So maybe you have to push the envelope a little bit. And one of the things I want to believe was happening. Ambassador Baka most likely were in touch. I don't know that for sure, but there are people in the barracks among the agitated army personnel. Has they reached a certain stage? No. They're just angry. And I think because of that conversation, gave him the confidence that this is, I can get this thing under control. I can get this thing under control. Before I open the line, let me tell you a little bit about 1979. I've been saying this story over and over, and I'll say it again. It was on a Saturday, 1979, April 14, 1979. Go look it up. Put 1979, April 14. It was on a Saturday. Saturday. I remember that because I was involved. Okay. So anyhow, that Saturday, very early in the morning, I got up. I was working at the Ministry of Education as a cadet. That Saturday, I decided, because cadet, you got to go and clean the office and things like that. So I went very early in the morning to clean the office, which I don't do. When I go in the office, all I go and do is just type and stuff like that. Anyhow, but I knew there was a demonstration that was scheduled that Saturday. So I went in around about, say, 8:30, 9 o'clock. I decided to go to the LPR office, which is right behind PUA. So I went there. When I got there, the crowd was like maybe 50, 60, not many. So Deacon Carlos, they had this little table in a area where he was standing. He stood on the table and had bullhorn. But the information he gave us was that they were in the process of canceling the demonstration, and that they're most likely not going to be able to have the demonstration. So while he was talking, somebody whispered in his ear, and he said, "Oh, okay, some people are coming from across the bridge, so we have to go and send people to meet them halfway across right on the bridge and tell them, let them go back home." Just as he was talking, of course, other people were coming around now. By the time he got to that statement, the crowd had swelled to maybe 100, 150 the most. So part area now, the area they have the bricks around, it's not anything more than 35 by 25, I would say. The bricks were like maybe 3 feet high the most. And so the house is on that side, the backyard where they have the bricks, they're all on this side. And the PU, they have Sony Wayne right here, and then PUA on the other side of Sony Wayne. You know, the Sony Wayne, the gutter, it's right there. And I was standing right there, right on the gutter, looking in. So out of a sudden, this is what the government of Ottawa did. Out of a sudden, there's this police. First, the army truck came and went by us, stopped on that side, got their army people. They came and they all lined up facing the pad office. doing nothing. They were just there standing. So the police came with a light-skinned guy. I still don't know his name, but people say he, captain, some captain. But the only person that I remember was that we have the Dr. Hare. He used to work for Madame Azanko at the Ministry of Education, so I know her. His son is handicapped, have a crippled legs, but he was he wanted a security person, so he was there. I knew him because he used to come to the Ministry of Education a lot, so I knew who he was. I knew he was Dr. Hare's son. So this light-skinned captain or colonel, whatever they call him, he came. So the police people got on the car. The army now was closer to the fence at the graveyard. So way behind the sidewalk now, closer to the fence. So the police came in front of them. So the guy now, at that time, the crowd was getting a little bit heavier than what it's supposed to be. But Deacon Carter was keeping people calm. There's no question. Those of you that were there that day, 1979, on Saturday morning, you will know. He had a bullhorn. The bullhorn was telling people to calm down. That we'll have a conversation. If anything, we might have to just go on the beach and have a conversation, he said. And this police captain guy, he said, I want everybody to get off the government sidewalk. Those was his statement. So they wanted people more than 200 at this time, 250 the most. He wanted everyone to fit in that little spot, because he said that's a part property. So anybody who is here to talk about the progressive, you have to go in that property, stay off the government property. So they have their baton, arms locked in hand, and they have their baton started pushing people in from the Getty Street. Was that Getty? Yeah, that's Getty Street. From the Getty Street side. Wow, I still remember that. Well, it's something else. But anyhow, they started pushing people. So as they push more people into that little spot, they didn't have enough police to block the entire area. So the Ronald Street side were open. So the people just left. They forgot about Deacon Carter and everybody else. Left that spot, got on Ronald Street. Some of them started breaking the plum branches and held the branches. Went on Ronald Street, took Broad Street, going toward the executive marshal. April 14th started. That is a government heavy hand, and we all know how that ended. If they had just left that with the army, who were not provoking anything, I doubt it, because as Deacon Carter was saying that morning, that they were not going to go on, because the night before there was a statement, and I think Dr. Famula wrote about that at one time, that in fact they were going to cancel. So if that guy have not shown up, I believe, to push those people, force them, to provoke them to get in the street, I don't think that would have happened. Another story that day, I followed. So when I got Camp Johnson Road at that time, the crowd had gone way ahead of us, and the tear gas was all over. But the army were telling the demonstrators how to deal with the tear gas. So when they throw the tear gas at you, take a potato green and just rub it in your eyes. It's going to go away. And when people find that out, all of the dirty potato green on a Busa collar, people are just going and grabbing them. I was there. I saw that. But when things started getting death, the people started, the first death that I saw was the army guy came out of the army truck, boom, and the gun went off and hit somebody right before us, right on Camp just killed him. And then my brother came. He said, if I see you in the street again, he was in the army, of course, my little brother. So if I see you in the street again, I won't let people kill. I will kill you myself. I took my scary set away. I went, but I wasn't able to stay away from long. But the issue here is, if a government, and I believe Those are the kinds of experience that President Barker has that inform his decision-making process in not to come in with heavy hand. And President Barker, having had that kinds of knowledge, I believe, with the April 14, heavy handed, and it doesn't serve the government well. Property was destroyed, people were killed, and things went. The only reason why things did not go the way that would have been very bad for the government is because Tobo was able to put things under control. Not because of the security forces, but the Liberian people themselves recognize that, yes, indeed, we have made our point. Let me open the line, folks. Samson to Liberian Public Radio. So this, when we tell you, say we've been around for a while, we're not playing around. You think because you always let them make flower. So we're not playing around. We've been around, folks. We've been around. But it's a very serious stuff. Government must not always come in with heavy hand tactics. The people, here's the thing here. Yes, every one of us, besides having friends, we have relatives. We're connected. If anyone is killed by any other person, you have already created one enemy. And that person, if the person have a large family, you have already created a whole bunch of enemies. They're not going to let it go. They're not going to forget it. When the opportune time comes, when the opportunity is there, many people will utilize the opportunity. And you cannot govern a country that is this divided with an issue. It's not possible. You always, you will try to use force, but they will push back. And you might not even enjoy the governing process for yourself. Folks, this is Samson to Liberian Public Radio. Let me go ahead and open the line and let me hear your own side. We hope and we pray that the government action was something that was very timely, and I actually appreciate that. And the president is out of the country. I think he's coming back soon. The vice president is also out of the country. So give us a call, 916-533-2048. Let me see. One number. Oh, I thought the conservative have taken my number out. But now, folks, that's the number. Give me a call here, 9165. Today, Friday, right? Oh, no, it's not Friday. Oh, shit. Still got plenty of day to go. But anyhow, give me a call, 916-533-2048. My argument from yesterday, and still my argument, that I believe the president's action showed leadership. I believe that the president was very patient. I believe that the president exhibited the most experienced aspect of his leadership was shown to us yesterday as Liberian, and many of us appreciate it and say thank you. Thank you. Give me a call here, 916-533-2048. So let me go on to other issues. There will be a bunch of confirmation coming out, I think, on Thursday. We're hoping that some of the people that are going to be confirmed will be able to work with them. So while I'm waiting for your call, let me go on to another subject matter. Okay. Now, in fact, let me be ridiculous a little bit. Let me be ridiculous. So if they think have gone sour yesterday, where you will go at? Guinea will not take you. Africa will not take you. Sierra Leone will not take you. Where y'all go? Where y'all go? Our country, we got nowhere else to go. Let's make it enjoyable for all of us. No, you gotta call the other line. Call the other line, madam. Call the other line. Call the other line, 916-533-2048. Okay, please call the other line. So, but let me go on to this my next week subject matter. I'm going to be, and this is the reason why I'm so happy that President Baka was able to actually call the other line. Okay. Call the other line. Call the other line. 916-533-2048. Thank you. Okay. So let me see. Is that 9 open? Yeah, it is. Okay. So the reason why I'm so happy that President Baka would make his decision was very timely for me yesterday, was that the issue many of us are willing to come to help is that the young people, the young Liberians, why she's not calling this number? Call this number. Okay, let me call her. Okay. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me see if I can call her. Okay. Folks, let me call this number by 203. Okay, 298 2578. Okay. Well, oh. Oh. Hello? Oh, maybe the phone has problem. Okay, but it's not connected to my whatchamacallit. Anyhow, don't call yet. I'm trying to restart this. But let me go on. Our country is facing some serious crisis, having some serious issues. Those of us that are a little bit younger, it's not about us, but the young Liberians. Sometimes I just look among when I go to the function, the county district organization function, when I go and I recognize some smart young people among their peers, and I'm just thinking to myself, these are intelligent that is being wasted. And you say, Mr. Todd, the person is working here in this country and making money. They're not wasting anything. Fine. I agree with you. But can you imagine, as young and vibrant as this person is, if that person have gone to Liberia to work, can you imagine his productivity level? What exactly he's going to be bringing on the table? What exactly that he will be doing for the country? Can you imagine? Here we go. Samson told Labrador Pabrito, what's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Good evening, Mr. Todd. This is Tokan.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for calling. Go ahead.
I'm calling you from Fargo, North Dakota.
Okay. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, thank you also again for the show. Sometimes, you say the right thing, but then to protect our papa again, you can go on the other side to protect it, I say this because sometimes when you're not prepared for a war, what a soldier will do, you will push back, you will retreat from that war. You will flee, sometimes like a whip dog, or he's saying another chance to fight another battle because he didn't die in the process. So that was the position Baga was in yesterday. So I say this to say, if you see the commander in chief say, oh, I will listen to A, our council did, he was pushed to the wall on ground that he never had control over the situation at that time. But trust me, before it even happened again, he already had plenty of people in the system that would disperse that crowd, that it would not happen again. But we tell God, thank you for the idea, you know.
So let me ask you this: how do you classify the leadership display that he had yesterday? That he did yesterday? Is he not smart?
Well, I would say it was good on his part to pull back. Not that he was smart, he could hold his ground. I said that to say because where were I going with this? You know, the constitution of the country says peaceful assembly. But I hear you people talking about demonstration all the time when you're speaking on the show. People have right to demonstrate. Who authorized your demonstration? You have to have permit to go about it. Police must guide you in the process. Now, if I was a taxi driver and you infringe on me that day, I could run to you because I feel that you're disturbing my peace. So who was in charge of that situation? I hope you know where I'm coming. You getting where I'm coming from?
I understand.
Somebody had to be, somebody had to be in charge of the situation. Before someone even get in the street of Fargo, you must have the consent of the mayor. I mean, I don't know where we get it from. Like, oh yeah, I have the right to demonstrate. Did they say peaceful assembly? You talk about nothing, something, not something. Why did they push you guys? Most of all government power because government did not give you the permission to do it. Get off the government street until you can come with the relevant authority to us and say, oh, I want to do this, we'll guide you to do it. We should create avenue for you to do it. But I mean, I tell God, thank you. The situation just went that way because if somebody had fired one gun yesterday, I'm sorry for our people in Liberia again. We're going to be crying because they had a plan already. They were just waiting for the situation to be you know, or provoked. Then they were going to come or what they wanted to do.
Can you
they
hold on 1 minute? Caller, can you call 916-533-2048? This other phone is not connected. Can you do that, please?
Oh yeah, she had to keep trying because it's difficult to come through.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fine now because I just put it together. But go ahead, wrap it up.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So again, the old man.
Mm-hmm.
And I will get the soul to it. It's like a Trojan War. Yeah, they say they went for a Troy. That was staged for 10 years on siege. I can remember I could not break through. And the king of those years, hey, we all will retreat. Let the people come and take over the city, then we'll pass behind and enter. And that's what they did.
Okay.
So Baka had to pull back a little bit to allow them to carry on.
We don't want Trojan War in Liberia, please. Thank you. All right, my brother. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I always enjoy when you call. Okay, Sis Country, go ahead. Good evening. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
Yes. How you doing, Mr. Tool?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes. I listened. I've been listening to you a little bit. Other people say the president caved in or what have you, but I think that was very, very wise on the part of the president because Liberia had gone through a lot of things, and we don't want to go back to all those things that happened in Liberia that brought war in Liberia. And if let's say the AFL-Y, I think they did not do right. It was a test to the new sitting government. And Liberia, as we are Liberian, when we need peace, we have to take time how to channel our grievances. We need to be very smart because if this man was not a mature or older folks who really have wisdom, it will enter into, beating people from the street and all kinds of things, and that would have been a bad blood to both those people who tried to channel their grievances in the government. because other people saying, hey, that's a test to the government and all kinds of things. But I think the old man handled it according to what you were saying as well. I think he handled that professionally. That was great because we need peace in Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. Point well taken. Thank you. Okay. All right, folks. Number 916-533-2048. Give me a call here. But let me go on. Let me go on. So the issue, as I was saying here, most of you that are young, and sometimes when I go to the functions, I see the young, smart Liberians. They're working though after educating themselves. Like I said, young Liberians are resilient. There's no question. Some of the things these people went through in a war, and yet still they come here and be able to educate themselves. And some of them have gone like excelled so high in whatever profession they're in. They're doing good, excellent. However, deep inside, they're suffering. Deep inside, I will put my hair on a chopping block for they want my hair faying people more. They want my hair faying somebody more. I'll put my hair on. They're suffering deep inside. Why am I saying this? Because many of them are still connected to Liberia. And they, as I was saying to one of the young men last night, he called me last night, we were talking from one thing to another. And I started telling the young man, I feel bad for you guys. Because your situation is so. Okay, let me take this call then I'll wrap. Samson to Liberia, what's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Yeah.
Hello?
This is Boima.
Yeah, Boima, good evening. Thank you for joining us. What's on your mind, sir?
Yeah, so I'm concerned about your discussion on the young people going back to Liberia to work.
Yeah, go ahead.
In my own field, I did make that trip back to Liberia to work, and what I noticed was I was at a pretty good point in my career, and I went back to Liberia and worked there 9 years. What I realized is, and I used to tell every young person who got the chance to go abroad, I said, dude, if you go abroad, you get a chance to stay abroad and get as much experience as possible before you come back home. Because the thing about it is the progression. So when you start off in your career, a lot of guys get masters and they go back home. Wrong move. No experience. They go back with all this very petty knowledge, but they don't really have the experience. And they go back home assuming that because they got the paper, they are knighted with experience. But it's totally false. And that's why you have a lot of young people in Liberia who feel because they got degrees that they have it all. But the issue is if you went abroad and you got a lot of experience, get about 10, 12, 15 years of experience, and then come back home, you'll be very, very good at what you're doing and you can help others. But if you just went to school, maybe work a year and then go back home and you don't have the experience, that field is moving ahead of you. And guess what? You're going to, it's going to be bad for you because you'll come back 3 years, 4 years from now and realize that everybody else is ahead of you. And that stuff you do in Liberia, usually, people go to Liberia and they're just pushing papers pretty much, working raw Word documents. The government can afford to buy you software. For example, in my field, my softwares are like $1 million a pop. Government can't afford that. So if I'm working in Liberia 5, 6 years, I'm not going to touch that software one day. And those software is so important into my skill that if I'm not working with that software, pretty much I'm not doing much in Liberia.
It's one of those use it or lose it.
Yeah, lose it or lose it. So, that's the thing. And the thing is, you'd never find the thing about the older people who were in Liberia who are experienced. Most of the guys who work in the 80s, I would give the 80s a lot of credit because people who work in the 80s, man, the guys were solid. For some reason, the companies in the mid to mid 70s to the end of the 80s were very, very strong companies, and the people had really good skill. During the war, a lot of guys were our elementary school teachers and high school teachers, and that's for some of us who went to school between 1999 and 1990 and 1996. We had so much solid education because most of the guys were coming out of the war, they're trying to hustle. and they were teaching us at the same time.
Hold your thought right there, please. Let me merge the other number, please.
Yeah.
I think your conversation is very interesting. Just hold on. All right, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so most of the guys were so during April 6th, a lot of them made their way abroad, and some of them, found jobs with NGO, and so that process shifted. But the truth be told, that generation is not there again to lead us. So you go to Liberia right now, you're pretty much going after young people who maybe are a boss that's a politician. Look at all the appointments right now. Most of the bosses will be politicians. They're not people in your field. Technically, you'll sit down with those guys and really, really drill them in those particular areas. They're not really competent, right? So that guy's your boss. He sort of leads you to that position, and you don't have a guiding light. You don't have a what do you call it, a watchtower to look up to, right? So your skills are lost. A lot of young people become politicians because guess what? They somewhere in the maze, they lose their way, and then it's like they come by America and see all their friends way advanced in that career, and you're like, okay, there's nothing I can do. I can't go back to school and get a master's. I already got a master's in this field. I can't get a job again because I stay so long in Liberia, and my experience doesn't really match their experience and need. So a lot of young people get disappointed. Don't go back to it. They don't go back to their field again. They become politicians. So I advise a lot of young people, don't go back to Liberia unless you get solid experience. Don't jump on the plane the next day after your school. Get as much experience you can, then you can go contribute to your country. That's my point.
I hope because I'm going to be doing some program here next week. I'm an engineer here, so I will be doing some engineering program here next week, but it's still in the same line of experience and work experience and what have you. And since you have both here and there experience, I will hope that you will call sometime next week to join me and share more of your experience on how, what type of a specific experience you have in Liberia, what effect, whether it be a side effect or whatever it is that you can share with the audience. We'll appreciate it. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So let's do that next week. Thank you very much for calling. I appreciate it, sir.
Definitely.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Caller 4658 number. Go ahead. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Yes, that's a point. That's a steady tell.
Yeah, I can't hear you. You got to speak into the phone. You got one of those CDC phone again tonight again?
No, I don't have CDC phone. You can hear me now, right?
A little bit. If you want Unity Party phone, I can send you the good one. Go ahead.
I don't need Unity Party phone, but I just want to let you know, Joseph, okay, I can hear. You can hear me clear now, Buckle?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Joseph Walker, many Liberians. I'm not one of those that here to praise him, Joseph Walker.
Why can't you call him president?
No, President Walker. Oh no, I'm very sorry to the audience. President Walker. I'm not one of those here to praise him, Walker. I look through the political lens to analyze Walker. Okay, President Walker. President Walker have corrupted the career of the young man Prince C. Johnson. I'm sure that he had a closed door utterances or discussions with the man that prompted him to resign. President Walker made the man resign from the armed forces, and now made him promise to give him defense minister work or pay double standard on that. Put the people in the streets because you don't want people from normal country to spearhead any kind of very tough security of the governmental position in his government because you're afraid.
Oh, come on.
Walker is here to send people in a circle to dictate to the Liberian people. That's what he ought to do.
Okay.
It's Walker has corrected man. This is one of the finest military men we have in Liberia. But now
you think
Walker
is in cahoots with people to destroy his
sure. Sure. Not just only him, but even the justice minister, he played games on America. He knew that he have steel marks on them. Over the years, Tracy Johnson has some sort of a steel mark in his use relevant with his colleagues in the army, all that, comments, all that. So Baka been getting all this information. He cataloged this information. Even pretend he sent that man that he knew that Africa was going to reject it.
All right, thank you.
So there's a game he playing with the man. And Unity Party, they are playing a game with the poor Nima Congo. That's what he's doing.
Okay.
Seriously. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Territory Lion.
Yeah, Territory Lion. Wow. President Bakai is in cahoots with somebody to ruin this young man's career. Terry, good evening. What's on your mind?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. So. The thing the guy just said, that is what damaged Liberia today. People just jump from nowhere and just conclude their own thing to create confusion. He asking just now what the proof he have. He got no proof. He just, on his own analytical view, he believes that Ambassador Boyka play a political strategy to remove Prince Johnson. Then why did he go to the length of nominating a man to send him to the Senate? Do you know what it means when a president nominates a defense minister and he goes to the Senate and the Senate confirms him only for a few days for him to resign? Do you know who bears more criticism? It's the president that bears more criticism than the man in question. But again, due to some level of ignorance, our brother then come on the network, they don't have nothing to offer, and they just give a random view based upon speculations. That is how people died during the war. Somebody just look at you and say, oh, because the person's stomach is big, so they conclude in their mind that this person was working in the government and they were eating a lot of money, they were making money. So that was how they killed people for nothing during the war. And these things we got to stop. But Labor, today these women came up and they apologized because of the president level of response in regards to the way he handled the issue yesterday, and I do want to believe that they could not have done what they did under President Weah government because they did not trust President Weah. But they could do it on a JMB government because they know that JMB would have responded in the way that they wanted him to respond. So later on, because JMB exercised responsible leadership, even though I still blame him for yesterday, but he exercised and he recuperated himself by exercising responsible leadership to address the issue, they now feel much guilty for their actions because after they saw the behavior all on social media, people flagging it, I believe they came to the senses to realize that this does not portray the wife of the military. So I think we need to extend a hand of apology, but that should not be a precedent for other people to think that they will come in and continue to protest in this manner and disrupt other people's businesses and all of that. But yeah, it's a good show. Thank you for the time, Labor.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it. Okay. All right, caller, go ahead. 8732 number. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind? Hello? 240 number. 240 and then the last 4 digit 8732. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, folks, we're gonna bring this show to an end and tune in tomorrow for Mr. Social. Samson to Liberia Public Radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Sorry again. I'll call Boyma again.
Okay, Boyma.
So I'm calling about this whole situation with the armed forces.
Okay.
I would say it's in two parts. President Barkai, it was a pure distraction, right? President Barkai had these people in the streets They thought it was going to be a few days. It ended up stretching it off to almost a week. I think Prince did the honorable thing to resign, and I think there's room for him to be reinstated. From my experience, I've never heard Prince be a sort of a problematic person in all through the governments. He was able to be a soldier at one point. I mean, throughout all these governments, he was a soldier, truly a soldier. He was under the guidance of the commander in chief, and that's how he lived his life. He was a knight in shining armor. Even through the friends I have in the military, nobody had anything bad to say about PCJ. So this issue with PCJ all of a sudden becoming a villain, and I mean, I totally don't believe the authenticity of it. And this mutiny, of course, and soldiers don't behave in this way. Soldiers don't usually go in the streets. It's never been seen before, even from all governments. You never see soldiers go in the street. So for me to see that happen, there's got to be something deeper we didn't drill through. And I say a simple case. NSA can take $1,000 and go out there and find a few market women who are on that particular thing, give them some money and ask them who sent y'all, and you're here. Somebody's beacon is involved behind the scenes, transporting people, giving them money, moving them from one place to the next.
Yes, that's what
And
I
I think that's the
understand.
issue.
How did the women get from suffering to go all the way to Ralphie Highway over there like that?
Exactly, and
but that's something the investigation hopefully will show.
Exactly, and it's serious investigation because this is the military. This is not a civil, civilians. So this is mutiny. This is a different type of law that is being dealt with, and the military law is stronger than the civilian law. If the military is this lawless, then you imagine what's happening in the general community. Right. So for me, if the women are honest enough, I just think that it's not the case here. And I think, and people are tribalizing it. I'll go another thing, and Chief, people tribalizing this thing, right, about Nimba and all that. I feel like Liberia doesn't move beyond the fact that we're Nimbians, we're Kibmartinians, we're from Bomi, from these different places, and we factionalize the government. It's going to be a problematic thing in the future. We end up being like Nigeria, because Nigeria has to rotate power and all that kind of stuff, and it brings a lot of problems. We should either be Liberians or not at all. All of a sudden now we start counting the positions, who got what and who doesn't have what, and it's because most of the employment government, people go to government to make money. So people see it as, if this person comes from the county going to this position, they will make money and probably put it into that county. But that's not how it's supposed to be. That's not why those jobs are for. Those jobs deliver results for the general Liberian population. So I totally disagree with the fact that now we're raising the flag, the man doing something to Nimba people, or doing something to Bassa people, or doing something to Bong. And this whole thing about bringing one person from each county, if President Barker promised that, I have a serious problem with that, because that's totally wrong.
Why, if those people don't have the qualification anyway? Thank you, Barman.
Exactly.
Thank you, Barman. We appreciate it.
All right, bro.
Okay. Again, folks, Samson to Liberian Public Radio. That will be the last caller of the day. Please tune in tomorrow for Mr. So Show, where we will be here. No, I think Mr. So is having a special show tomorrow. And so I think this will be the end of my Tapatal until Thursday. I will be back here Thursday to start my... Oh, my goodness. Samson told Liberian Public Radio, what's your name, where you're calling from, what's on your mind?
Hi, Mr. Tomani. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
My attention has really been drawn to this the act of the AFL women, right?
Okay.
And I know those women have a leadership. So then I asked the leadership of the women, if the leadership claim they don't know about those girls or those women that got in the streets, then they should be also in line with the team that will be set up to do the investigation, because this does not show well for our country. That day, they have people missing their flights. And when has it become the work of the AFL women to determine who becomes the Minister of Defense? You don't have to be an army personnel before you know that there is something else that was plotted bigger than this. You don't have to be that. Those women don't have the power to own their own, just go stay in the streets. And come to think about it, there are criteria that validate somebody to be an AFL. Well, not one lady loving to somebody in the barrel become somebody. Somebody is an instigator. Seriously. There are criteria set to become an AFL where not anybody, because you sleep with somebody in the barrel, then they get on used to just something bigger than this. Some hands are behind it. I've said it before on my page, and I'm still saying it. If they do an investigation, they will get to know. I said, since these are women, the AFL women have their leadership. We have Josephine Kowa, who has the armed forces women, and we have a lot of other women beyond that. They should be able to tell us because they are not rebuking the eyes. And these people transition from past government to the next, and they didn't do this before now. And who told them? Because government is continuity, government will get in power less than 100 days, and then you say they should just start running like that. There are a lot of things that we need to start. If we don't investigate and put a start to this kind of attitude, it might feel something very dangerous, especially judging from all the rumors or the allegations from past government that is going into here. Would they see Honorable Prince C. Johnson? I tell people I congratulate him. He did the honorable thing. But there still needs to be an investigation because my Bible tells me a leader is not about him. It's not about himself. It's about the people. They did it to Samuel. When the children of Israel said they never wanted Samuel, he did not impose on them. So I hail him for that act. But there needs to be more done. These women, the investigation should start. The leader of these women, the women, the head of the AFL cannot tell me the women don't have statistics for these women. They do. And if they tell us those women were marketeers, how come marketeers have started creating roadblocks? Except they need to tell us something because this does not show well for our image out there. Especially we who just taking over for a government that doesn't even have a dime in their cover, and they all know it. They all know it. It's not a secret. Where would money come from if you start creating these kind of projects? What will encourage people out there? Even your own citizens that are investing in the country will get afraid. We just left. We just trying. We're not even healed from the random killing that went on. People lost family. People being afraid to come back home. Then we have not even the army. Not even. I don't even know how to say it. But the wives of army personnel detecting to the government what's going to be next. It will not be far from cool. Because if they can create a roadblock, what if the president was traveling that way? You know how many presidents missed their flight?
The vice president traveled. You're right.
What was their intent? There's something deeper than this, sir. Something is very much bigger than this.
We're hoping that the president stated that there's going to be an investigation, and hopefully in 2 weeks we'll find out. And then we'll make some comment on those investigations.
We have to start putting things in place. Like my brother just left the line was talking about this saying, "Oh, Nima did this." I commented on it before, and I will say it again. No one country brought this government to power. No one country. It was the Liberian people that decided. No one country. Everybody put it, even the Liberians abroad, resources came from abroad. Everybody got out of their closet to make sure there was change. And change is here. The qualified and the competent were sent. People should stop making it about trouble. Because when you are a leader and start saying these things, you are inciting people. Especially considering the kind of people we have. Not many of our people are educated to these things. And the people who are novices are still being controlled by these kind of thoughts. You know, Nima did this, Abon did, Lofa did this. Those are divisive statements. We need to start bringing some leaders to book. Okay. Because they are inciting.
Thank you.
They are inciting. We don't want to go back to where we came from. I repeat, the AFL women leadership needs to be investigated. This is an instigator plan for something bigger. This rat is bigger than the city smelling.
And I think before long, they themselves, they respect they have, their reputation is on the line. Most likely, someone from the mountain will come out and tell us what happened.
They have to, because they can't tell me to put no little girl. You excuse me, sir. You saw what you know what are the debates? People sitting in their own car like we still in the rebel days, and looking at people are looking over there. They were not even there in 1990. They don't know how it feels like. They think it's a movie.
Right.
Because if they know what it was, they would not even say, don't know. No girls I saw over there, they don't even know what it looks like during the time they were portraying. They have people in the back pushing them. If you go to my page, I even have one of them commenting and saying he had to resign. Quincy Johnson had to resign because had he not resigned, at one hospital that will not work with us. So I said, wow, that's a fine statement, because that means you became a scapegoat. Your husbands could not come, also they send you. And so you could not come, you look for who to bring. So this is longer and bigger than it is. If we don't put stop to these things, we're going to be in the same battle.
Thank you. Thank you, my sister. We appreciate it. Thank you. Again, folks, interesting subject matter tonight. We hope that we will continue. Mr. So will be here again tomorrow, and we will be back on Thursday. Please stay tuned to Liberian Public Radio. We appreciate all of your support by tuning to Liberian Public Radio. It's a form of support that we all appreciate. And many of you, not that you don't have anything to do, but the mere fact that you are here watching, we have to do our best to make sure that we give you the type of information that we can provide. We will always be honest with you. And these are conversations we cannot put on the table. We'll put everything on the table. You're Liberians. You have the ability to be able to decipher what is right and what is not. And I think many of you have done that again tonight. And let's continue to engage each other. It's better to talk than to fight. Samson told Liberian Public Radio. We will say good night to all of you. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. Good night, folks.